Let's start with the trade and what expectations I should have. It looks like we're going to get a smaller deal if that does come through. How excited as an investor should I be over that?
Well, the equity markets have continued to be more excited than any other asset class. I think we still remain very cautious. You saw the Trump quote last night that he doesn't want a partial deal. So if a partial deal is announced, it's going to look bad for him, right? It will look like a climb down from the U.S. side. I mean, the thesis that we've had since February is that caving to China doesn't help Trump get reelected. And so, you know, if it looks very obvious that he's climbed down, I think that's actually going to hurt him with his base.
So is your base case still then that tariffs might still be raised on October 15th and December here?
It's possible, yeah, because, again, you know, if the Chinese have shown no signs of giving ground on any of the really substantive topics that have come up during negotiations, I think they are playing hardball with Trump. You know, with him weakened by the impeachment hearings, with the re-election coming up, they're sort of betting that Trump would, you know, prefer a partial deal, even though in public he says he doesn't want to. We'll have to see how that goes. But our final conclusion is that if we get a deal this year, 2019, it can only be what we've called a deal in name only, a DINO. And if we have to wait to 2020, which is what some of the press stories are about, I don't think we're going to get a deal at all, because getting a trade deal in the U.S. approved or just carried out in a presidential election year is very difficult. It's always been difficult.
So, Cliff, given that, I mean, what you're saying essentially is the markets are not pricing this in at this stage.
I think currencies have to some extent, but I think, you know, equities remains the vulnerable one here. I mean, I think people are rightly concerned about the degree of the slowdown as we go into 2020. And depending on how the indicators come out, there may be some further downside. But this one singular event has not been fully priced in, no.
Are you seeing any changes in terms of trade flows in the region? There's a sense from some that maybe trade flows are starting to pick up slightly. Is that something that you're seeing?
No, again, you know, the old mantra of economists, no one wins the trade war. So what you're seeing actually in Asia, so the Asia trade engine, I just call it the China trade engine, that's puttering. And it's, there's some countries that are benefiting from some diverted trade flows, Vietnam and Malaysia, for example, among them. But the overall impact is still to slow down trade, which, of course, Asia depends intricately and intrinsically upon.